President, please be seated. The court is now back in session, and before I hand the floor to the defense team for Noon Jie to put questions to this witness, the chamber hands the floor to Judge Laverne to make an oral ruling through the objection by the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor in reference to the questions and the source of the documents by the defense counsel. Judge Laverne, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The chamber is going to sustain the objection, so the witness does not have to answer the question that was put to him by Counsel Koppe. And the chamber, during the break, examined the documents in question, E3/7696, and noted that this is an interview by DCCAM of Netsavat, but the following is said in English.
C'est à l'ERN en anglais.
It's at English ERN 00384164.
The statements in parentheses are the direct statement of Netsadvat, not that of Fancon in his confession. Donc,
so the chamber understands that everything that's in parentheses corresponds to answers provided by Netsavat, and everything that is not between brackets corresponds in fact to the reading of the confession from S21, and that is why the chamber does not authorize the question to be put.
Puisque ce qui a été lu,
because what was read was not what was between the brackets, but what came directly from the confession.
I'm not sure if I understand, because it says Savat and then the brackets open. Yes, him saying, yes, all weapons were collected, but Kampun might have some weapons hidden in order that his forces could take him. End of bracket, laughing. So that's his answer. It's not the confession. That's why I was asking the question. Which also brings me to another point. Investigators of the co-investigating judges have used confessions to ask questions to witnesses. Does your ruling now mean that answers given by those witnesses prompted by the reading of confession are now also excluded from the evidence?
If I may respond to that last comment, there is one well-known interview where that took place, and indeed when that with Mies Von, and this happened in the first trial, when that part of his statement was brought before this chamber, the Nunchea defense objected because the witness was being questioned using an S21 confession, asked to confirm whether or not that was correct. The trial chamber sustained the objection of the Nunchea defense, and so that part of the statement was not allowed. So the Nunchea defense itself has argued against themselves in these proceedings before. And before I get off my feet, this relates to a question that Judge Laverne asked about the black paper earlier. Counsel attempted to use the black paper, a piece of propaganda from the Democratic Kampuchea government, on this alleged plot to kill Pol Pot. And if you look at the black paper, specifically ERN 000825542, it is clear where that information comes to in answer to Judge Laverne's question, because that page says when he was arrested in 1976, Khoi Tun revealed the plot. So they are clearly repeating information that was obtained after Khoi Tun's arrest during his interrogation.
Cartoon wasn't interviewed in S21 in 76, but that aside, Mr. President, I don't think I have an answer to my first observation, and that is that the relevant excerpt from Savat, that all weapons were collected, but Kampun might have some weapons hidden in order that his forces could take them. That is still his testimony. As you know, I have a different position as to, in relation to my colleagues. We believe that, in accordance with academics Chandler and Heather, and also upcoming expert Hinton, by the way, that under certain circumstances, if prudently done, confessions could be used as evidence. However, having said that, I still don't understand the ruling, because it is Savat's testimony.
President, the Chamber has ruled on this matter that this document cannot be used as it is an extract from the confession. And if you have more questions, please move on to that question. If not, then the floor will be given to the next defense team.
Oh well, I will move on, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, what is it that you know about Division 920?
I did not know anything about that.
Have you heard of Division 920?
Which division are you referring to?
920, 920.
No, I did not know about that division. I did not know who was in charge of that division.
Have you ever heard of Chin, the Division 920 commander?
Is it Sin?
I
only heard from other people regarding this person, but I never spoke in person to him. I only saw the person. I did not meet him in person. And I was not in any position to speak to him.
I understand. Do you know whether Division 920, was in any manner involved in bringing Vietnamese troops into DK territory?
No, I did not know about that. And I did not see it either.
I'm not allowed to ask follow-up questions, Mr. President. For the record, this is something he was read to from the confession, and he confirmed it in his DC Camp statement. However, I shall move on. This Chin Division 920 commander, do you know whether he had any relations with Division 310 commander Un?
No, I did not.
Have you ever heard of plans?
If I know, I tell you. If I don't know, I would say so.
Have you ever heard of plans of Division 310, 450 and others to at one point in time attack the radio station of Phnom Penh, attack Pochentong Airport, kill senior leaders and organize a coup d'etat against the CPK?
No, I did not know about that. But interrupts Mr. President. My apology for standing up, and I'd like to get the source of the question of Council Copper.
It's testimony from various Division 310 combatants who testified in this trial chamber. Sam Hoon is one of them. There are some others. There is also DC Cam testimony confirming this. So I think it's well on the record. But I was asking an open question. He says he doesn't know. Let me read something different to the witness and ask him whether he has any knowledge of these excerpts. Mr. Witness, that's the same document I was reading from earlier. It's minutes of a meeting chaired by Son Sen. Do you know who Son Sen was?
No, I did not know him.
Son Sen in document E3/13 is talking to the various division commanders, including Un and Chin, and he is saying the following, and I'm quoting from ERN English 009-40343, Khmer 00652-406, and French 00334-976. He is analyzing the situation. It is October 1976. It's a month after the arrest of Ya, your brother-in-law. And Son Sen is saying the following. He distinguishes two enemies: enemy to the west, and second, the enemy to the east. And he's saying the following: the key plan of the enemy of the east, the Vietnamese with the Soviets behind them, was to attack from the inside through the traitorous forces of Ya, Kieu Mies, Chuk and Chakrai. What they would have liked in terms of an attack from the outside was to attack in Czechoslovakian and Angolan style. But this was merely a morale boost, because given our situation, this was not something the enemy could do. End of quote. Mr. Witness, you were a CPK cadre since 1968. You had a mid-level position in the northeast zone. You were closely connected, I believe, to Kampong. Is this something that you have any knowledge of? The Vietnamese trying to attack Democratic Kampuchea using internal collaborators?
I did not know about that.
Fine, thank you, Mr. Witness. Some last smaller questions. Have you ever heard of an organization called FULRO?
I only heard people talking about full row, but I did not see it. And I did not know what full row was involved in. I did not know anything surrounding this full row.
Do you know whether there is one FULRO organization and another dealing with FULRO, dealing with Champa, called FULRO Champa?
No, I did not know about that.
So you never heard of FULRO Champa? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I did not know about that.
Let me read to you something from your own statement to DC Cam. E3/7696. English ERN 00384134 and 35. French 00384241. Khmer 00231511 and 12. Question put to you is, have you ever heard the word FULRO? And then you answer yes. And then the question, what does it mean? And you answer, FULRO was a group of strugglers. And a little bit further, what were their purposes? Struggled against whom? They said that they struggled against the Vietnamese, the communists. As they were struggling, what did they expect in return? They wanted the country, is your answer. What land? The land which belonged to Champa Kingdom, is your answer. And then a bit further on, so you knew about FULRO. You did not know any other things else? And then you answer, they came here, and I also saw a colonel too. Does that refresh your memory, Mr. Witness?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't know about that.
But I was just reading from your DC Chem statement. Is it something that you forgot?
I didn't say that. Maybe that was wrongly put in the statement. Because I did not see any full row.
No problem. Mr. Witness, last question. Have you ever heard of something called the Khmer Thaw, or the White Khmer?
No. I did not see any Khmer Thaw.
But my question was whether you heard of them.
I did not know anything about the white Khmer or the black Khmer.
Are you tired, Mr. Witness?
Yes, rather tired.
I will stop my questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
President, I'd like now to hand the floor to the defense team for Kiew Sampon. You may proceed, counsel.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President, and perhaps to reassure everyone, let me inform everyone that we have only a few questions and we will certainly complete our examination before 4 p.m. Good afternoon, witness. My name is Antagise. I am International Co-Counsel for Mr. Kyo Sampan. I have a few complementary questions for you with a view to clarifying what you have stated today. First of all, may you clarify the number of times you were interviewed? I understand you were interviewed for the first time by DCCAM staff, and later on you were interviewed by investigators from the Office of Co-Investigating Judges. Is that correct? Can you remember that you were interviewed twice? Does that refresh your memory?
Yes, I was interviewed twice. One was in my village and the second time was in Ratanakiri province.
Je voudrais d'abord maintenir.
I would like us to start with the first time you were interviewed by DCCAM staff. When you were interviewed, do you remember whether you were the only person in the room in which you were interviewed, or there were other persons with you in that room?
You mean when I was interviewed? If there is a case, there was only me who was there.
Là, je parle de.
I am talking of your interview with DCCAM. Are you sure that you were the only person in the room when you were interviewed on that day?
Yes, I was the only one who was interviewed.
Je vous pose cette question.
I put this question to you, and I hope it will refresh your memory with regard to this DCCAM document E3/7696. Apart from yourself and the person who interviewed you, there were times when someone, I believe was Mr. Chantoik, who testified yesterday, I believe that person was also present. Does that refresh your memory and enable you to determine whether or not that person was present at the time you were interviewed by DCCAM?
President, Deputy Co-Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Just for the record, and this may help counsel with the witness, this interview took place over a 3-day period. It's only on the 3rd day that the presence of Chantuch is recorded, same pages that we talked about before, English 384164. So I think counsel should be specific and refreshing the witness about this, that it was only on the last day that this other person was present.
Ma question ne.
My question did not have any trap in it. Since the witness has confirmed that he was interviewed on 2 occasions, I have no problem being more specific. Witness, as the co-prosecutor has just stated, do you remember whether you were interviewed by DCCAM staff over a number of days, and that on the last day, when you were shown the confession we talked of a while ago, do you remember whether Toik was present?
Et là, à l'intention de la.
And may I inform the Chamber and the parties that I'm referring to document E3/7696. For instance, the ERN in French is 00384-273. The ERN in English is 00384-169. And the ERN in Khmer is 00231547, in which mention is made of the person who appeared as having been interviewed according to this audio transcript. Does this refresh your memory?
Answer. In 1998, I was given a piece of document for me to read. It was about the story of that June. I, at the time, finished reading. After I read that, and then I was asked whether that story was true, and I said yes. Chanto was there, but he did not say anything. And on another occasion, Chanto, me, and Xian, I was given a piece of document as well to read, and names were mentioned in that document. And I was asked to read a lot at the time, and the question was put to me whether the content was correct about birth of place, so on and so forth. And I stated at the time it was correct. Kasi, and then the question was also about Kasi Y, and I said the Y is living, and Lane's Y, what about Lane's Y? In my reply, that Y also is living. And there are many other names which I cannot recall since I am getting older now.
Je comprends bien que
I very well understand that the interview took place a long time ago, and you may well have forgotten some of what you said, but you have confirmed that Chantoik was with you at a point in time when you were interviewed by DC Cam. You were also interviewed on a second occasion by investigators from the Office of Co-Investigating Judges, and a number of documents were shown to you. Do you recall having read those documents when you were interviewed for the second time by OCIJ investigators?
Answer. I recall that I told the court already, but I cannot recall all of the issues at the time since it happened a long time ago.
pas de souci. Ce que je vous
No problem. I just want you to confirm to me that you read the documents before you were interviewed or while you were being interviewed by OCIJ investigators, and I'm referring to document E3/7695. The French ERN is 00274813. In Khmer, it is 00236713, and in English, 00239483, and the following pages, in which a number of documents are mentioned, and this is for the information of the parties and the chamber. These correspond to confessions or biographies. Mr. Witness, do you recall having seen the documents shown to you by OCIJ investigators, and in respect of which you made some remarks?
Answer, I cannot recall it well.
Ce n'est pas bien grave, je vais...
That's okay. Let us now talk about the time of your arrest. You stated that when you were arrested sometime in 1977, it appears that this morning, if I remember correctly, you mentioned January 1977. At least that is what I heard in the interpretation. In your prior statements, you spoke rather of November 1977. Does that refresh your memory, and can you specify the date of your arrest? Was it in November or in January?
Answer, it was in January 1977. The month that I was arrested, and then I was detained for 1 month, after which I was transferred to the work site. That's all what happened to me. It was not in November, as you said.
Sur le moment où vous avez été arrêté, j'ai compris de votre...
As regards the time of your arrest, I understood from your testimony that you were arrested at your place of work. Do you recall who was driving the vehicle that transported you to K17?
Answer, Tapa. That was the vehicle of the state. Tapa headed us all to took me to K17, at which I was arrested. Tapa is deceased now.
Qui était ta... J'ai entendu Tapa.
I heard the name Tapa. Who was Tapa? In your statement with TCCAM E3/7/696 ERN in French 0048217, ERN in Khmer 00231486, and the ERN in English 0038411. The name I have on that document is Peak, P-H-E-A-K. And you state in that document that he worked with you and that he was a unit head. And I understand from your DCCAM statement that he was a person who drove the car. Is that the person you are referring to in the answer you've just given?
His name was Pa. There was another individual driving the vehicle, and that vehicle was belonged to the state or the country. The past took us to office K17, and that vehicle was a four-wheel drive vehicle rather.
Et est-ce que vous pouvez indiquer quelle était la fonction?
And can you tell the chamber what was the position of Tapa?
He was my chief at the hospital, in charge of the work at hospital.
Vous avez indiqué répondant à
In answer to a question put to you this morning by the co-prosecutor, you stated that you did not know who was the head of K17, but you did say that you had observed that the persons who were guarding you were soldiers, and I also understood that they were soldiers from the division. That is what I heard. Is that indeed what you stated? And if yes, do you know the division to which those soldiers belonged?
It was Tassan's division. It was from the upper level.
et comment avez-vous su?
And how did you know that those soldiers came from that division headed by Tassan?
Answer: I saw those people coming to guard all of us. I do not know how those soldiers were assigned to perform the tasks.
Est-ce que ce sont eux qui vous ont dit que
Were they the ones who told you that they were from Tassan's division?
They did not tell me. I knew that those soldiers were from that division. I learned that from other youngsters.
Et de quels jeunes parlez-vous?
And who are those youngsters you are referring to?
President, please observe the microphone. I am referring to my co-inmates, co-detainees.
Et vous avez indiqué ne pas savoir qui était.
You stated that you do not know who was the head of K17. When you were interviewed on the same issue by DCCAM officials, and this is document E3/7696, French ERN 003842227, ERN in English 003842120, ERN in Khmer 00231496. You did not speak specifically of the head of K17, but when you were asked to say who had decided that you be arrested, and you answered that question by saying that they had their head, and it was from their head who issued orders successively at the time. There was Tasarun. My question to you, therefore, is as follows. At the time of your arrest, did you know whether Tasarun was a person who had decided that you be arrested, or you were giving that answer to DCCAM staff, giving the name Tasarun because at a point in time he came to that area? Can you be more specific?
President, please hold on. Mr. Vinay, you have the floor now, International Deputy Co-Prosecutor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to correct a reference the council made. It may have been how my question may have been improperly translated in French this morning. My question to him this morning was not who was the head of the case of K-17. My question was who was the person who was in charge of the detention of the prisoners at the K-17 office. I think the record is pretty clear who the head of K-17 was, so it may have not been translated into French correctly, but the response of this witness this morning was that he didn't know who was in charge of the detention at K-17.
Oui, précisément.
Yes, precisely. It appears that is exactly what I stated. I started my question by saying that you said that you did not know who was in charge of the K-17 detention center. So I was referring to what the witness had stated in his DCCAM statement at the time. So I did understand from the answer he gave this morning that he didn't know who was in charge of K-17, but since he gave an answer which is rather confusing, that is why I'm asking him to clarify what he told DCCAM at the time of his interview. So, witness, can you be more specific and answer the following question? Do you know who was at the head of the K-17 detention center?
Answer. I was detained during that period, and that is why I said I do not know about that issue. There's a rule, perhaps, and as I said, I was detained in the detention center at that time.
Qu'avez-vous su ou qu'avez
Without knowing specifically whether he was at the head of the K-17 or not, do you remember exactly what you said regarding Tasarun to the DCCAM staff members?
Tasarun was the sector committee. He used to be the sector committee. After Talang and Takampun, I did not know what was going on.
Est-ce que vous confirmez donc bien?
Do you therefore confirm that Tasarun was indeed the secretary of Sector 105?
Answer. I do not know about that since as I said, was detained. There was no public announcement made known to me. I cannot give you my estimates or my guess who was the chief and who was the deputy chief at the time. I had been arrested and then placed in the detention, and afterwards I was transferred to the work site.
Je vous dis ça
I put this question to you, Mr. Witness, because when you were interviewed by DCCAM and I gave the ERN number, this was a question that was put to you. What was Tasarun's position? And your answer was as follows. He was chief of the province, chief of the sector. And the next question was as follows. Who was the sector chief at the time? And your answer was as follows. The sector chief was known as the sector secretary. After Talaing and Tapum's death, the only person left was Tasarun. And then another question was put to you. Which sector Tasarun was in charge of as secretary? And your answer was sector 105. Another question was put to you. What powers did he have as secretary of the sector? And your answer was as follows. He had authority over the entire sector. He would be called the governor of the sector today. Free translation. Does this refresh your memory as to what you told DC Cam? Or it doesn't remind you of anything? In which case, I will move over to another question.
Answer. It happened a long time ago, and I cannot recall it. He used to be within the leadership of the sector, and after the event of Lang and Poon, and then I did not know who was to replace those people. So that is all I can recall.
Vous avez décrit le bâtiment.
You described the K17 building as one that had 2 floors. Can you confirm the location of that K17 building in relation to Knompol Mountain? Can you tell us where that K17 building was in relation to that mountain?
Answer. There was a small dam. That road connected to Karachi to the west. That was the location of Office 17. There was a small dam, and the bigger dams were to the north and south of the mountain. That was the location of K17 or Office 17.
Pour être un peu plus précis.
To be more precise, was that building situated on Phnom Kral Mountain, or at the foot of that mountain, or at the summit of the mountain? Where exactly was Office K17 located?
Answer. Phnom Kral or Kral Mountain was located in the south, and the office was located in the northwest, not in the north. And there were streams. There was a stream surrounding Kral Mountain of Phnom Kral. So the office was on the other side of a small dam. I mean Office 17. So if you want to be sure, we can you can see it. Go to see it directly, then it is sure for you.
Je vous remercie des efforts que vous avez.
Thank you for the efforts you've made to be more accurate witness. I have one last question regarding the number of persons who are in the ground floor of building K17. You talked of 80 persons to the chamber at one point regarding what you told DCCAM interviewers, but in the hearing you talked of 50, 60, and 70. And in your statement before co-investigating judges, you spoke of about 40 persons. I know that the events occurred a long time ago. To the best of your recollection, can you tell us what is the more accurate figure between the two figures you gave, 40 and 80, on various occasions?
Answer on this particular issue, I'm not quite sure. It is my guess. Perhaps it did not reach 80. I did state that to the interviewer, but it is only a guess or an estimate. And we separated from each other later on, and some of us are living in a far distance, were living in far distance from me, so I do not know for sure.
Monsieur le témoin, je vous
Mr. Witness, thank you for the efforts you have made. I'll leave you to go and have a rest now, Mr. President. I have completed my examination of this witness, and my colleague confirms that he doesn't have any questions for the witness. Thank you.
President, thank you. I am grateful to you, Mr. Netsawat. The hearing of your testimony as a witness has now come to an end. Your testimony will contribute to the ascertainment of the truth, and you may return to your residence or to anywhere you wish to go. I wish you good luck, good health, and prosperity in your life. Court officers, please work with the vessel to send witness Netsawat to his residence or to any places he wishes to go. It is now time for the adjournment, and the hearing will be resumed on Monday, 14 March 2016 at 9 a.m. From 14 to 17 March 2016, the ECCC will be hearing an expert 2 TCE 88 in relation to the facts within the letter of appointing an expert as you have received. Please be informed and please be on time. Security personnel are instructed to bring Kilsampon and Nunjia back to the ECCC's detention facility and have them returned into the courtroom before 9 a.m. on Monday, 14 March 2016. The court is now adjourned.